Hello guys, welcome to Dak with Jazz, coming to you almost live from our very own Mary Jane the Cannabis. Groovy interviews coming up later, so stay tuned. Now let's check out what's happening this week in the City of Sales. JDay is approaching fast. JDay is part of the Global Marijuana March, which is an annual international event held on May the 7th. It includes things like marches, meetings, rallies, raves, concerts and festivals in over 200 cities across the world. In the past, we've had a really awesome turnout to JDay and had a fabulous afternoon of getting high together. So bring your friends, weed, guitars or whatever you can think of along to a JDay in a city near you and help celebrate the Kiwi cannabis culture. Also coming up this week, we've got Dr. Green's trial starting on the 9th of May. This trial dates back a year and a half to the only raid of the Daktory. Dr. Green was charged with cultivating, selling and possession of cannabis and forced to close the doors of New Zealand's first cannabis club for about 4 hours and 20 minutes. Protests will be held outside courts around New Zealand in support of Dr. Green, so keep an eye out on the web and on the notice board of the Daktory for the times and locations.
Police say they've closed down a major cannabis operation being run behind the facade of a legitimate gardening business.
250 people were arrested following a sting operation on hydroponic gardening chain Switched On Gardener.
Switched On Gardener, the one-stop shop for indoor gardening and hobby hydroponics.
We think it's made a big dent on the cannabis industry.
If Mr. Pope could find a way of shutting out the sunshine, then perhaps he might have some effect. The reality is that we've just travelled down through Taranaki during the last few days, and every town and city we stopped at, we had many supporters coming to us with gifts of cannabis that they've grown outdoors. What earthly use is it going to be for the police to spend vast resources in a 2-year investigation right throughout the country to try and stem the cannabis trade? It's just ludicrous.
There was a great turnout at the Auckland protest with over 10 people outside the courthouse. What about the other protests around New Zealand? How many people were there?
I understand why he had half a dozen or so. There were approximately a dozen people outside the courthouse, and that number grew to 20-25 people.
1 year ago today, our New Zealand police force raided legitimate legal businesses throughout the country. 35 grow shops. Who did they leave alone? All the big gardening shops. All the big chains. They left them alone, but came after people supposedly breaking the cornerstone of the cannabis industry. That is a joke. It is a lie.
So we're here outside the Auckland District Court handing out free lime ice creams to everyone here just to show how much of a nonsense this whole Operation Lime was.
Legalise and regulate.
These police officers, a lot of them, went in and told staff of the gardening stores that they had relatives who were ill with cancer and various other things and wanted to try cannabis as a medicine for these people. And people's lives suddenly became changed, turned upside down by the law, by police officers overstepping their duty by going in and lying to people. One person I know in Christchurch has 49 charges as a result, and some of those charges relate to selling nutrients to somebody knowing that they were going to use it to grow cannabis.
So it's the 27th of April, 1 year later since Operation Lime, and we're still making noise about it! Can we expect any more noise to be made about Operation Lime in the future?
I certainly expect to be making more noise about Operation Lime in the future.
And lastly, what's the latest thing that you personally have done for cannabis law reform?
I began the process of the CPOP Trust, and I feel very proud and very grateful to receive letters from a dozen guys that are in prison who have never met me before. They have no idea who I am, and my friends. They have no idea who these people are, and we're touching them, and it makes me tear up. Just that I can do that for someone who's in jail because they grew some weed, who's in jail because they sold some tinnies, who's in jail because they gave weed away. They helped share the love, you know. They provided it for people like me to buy.
So what's this trial all about? Why are you going to court?
We were raided in January last year here at TheDaktory, and also I have some charges from JDay 2 years ago involving the bus. So they're all cannabis related, and yes, they might send me to jail.
So what are you anticipating the outcome to be, or what are you hoping the outcome to be?
I'm hopeful that the jury will find that this lawyer is an ass and that they will find me not guilty regardless of the evidence. The reality is that I have every chance of being convicted and a possibility of being sent to jail. The courts treat this very seriously, selling cannabis, growing cannabis, but we're a long way from that yet.
Obviously, if sent to prison, that will harm your election campaign quite a great deal, but what about the day-to-day running of the TheDaktory? What can we expect to happen here? Will everything run as normal, or...?
We have a really good team here that run the TheDaktory. I've been away on tour and the place continues to grow and expand, so this place is much bigger than I am. As far as the election campaign is concerned, if I'm sent to jail, then I can't be a candidate. There are new laws now. You can't vote if you're a prisoner. You can't stand for Parliament, clearly, if you're in prison. So it's important that I don't get sent to prison so that we can win seats in the general election.
Thanks for watching the first ever Day with Jazz. Hope to see you back next week, and we'll see you all at JDay on Saturday.